Welcome back to Interrupted Success.
This is episode 7, Black Wall Stouts and Stolen Towns.
To close season 1, we follow what happened when Black communities built wealth that could not be ignored.
On May 31st, 1921, a white crowd gathered outside a courthouse in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Inside was Dick Rowland, a young Black man accused after an elevator incident involving Sarah Page, a white woman. Rumor had done what rumor often did in a lynching culture. It ran faster than truth. Black Tulsans knew what courthouse crowds could become, so they came to help protect him. But the deeper story was not only at the courthouse. The deeper story was Greenwood. A Black district so successful, people called it Black Wall Street. This is Interrupted Success. Episode 7. Black Wall Streets and Stolen Towns. Greenwood was alive with Black enterprise. Banks, hotels, barbershops, restaurants, theaters, doctors, lawyers, newspapers, churches, schools, grocery stores, beauty shops, homes. People called it Black Wall Street because Black money circulated there with strength. A dollar could move from a Black customer to a Black business owner, to a Black employee, to a Black landlord, to a Black church, to a Black school fundraiser. That was not just commerce. That was ecosystem. Segregation had forced Black people to build within boundaries, and they built so well that Greenwood became a symbol of Black prosperity. White Tulsa could see it. That was the problem. The immediate spark involved Dick Rowland and Sarah Page after an incident in an elevator. Rumors spread. A white crowd gathered around the courthouse. Black residents, aware of the threat of lynching, came armed to help protect Rowland. After confrontation at the courthouse, white mobs attacked Greenwood. Homes and businesses were looted and burned. Black residents were killed, detained, and displaced. Airplanes appeared over the district. Survivor accounts described terror from above. Historians still debate the exact details of what came from those planes, but what cannot be debated is that Greenwood was destroyed. Flames took buildings, but they also took ledgers, deeds, photographs, furniture, inventory, savings, and proof. Proof of wealth. Proof of ownership, proof of success. The story they tried to sell was that Tulsa was a race riot. That word helped shift blame and minimize the massacre. The truth shows a prosperous Black district destroyed by white mob violence, followed by cover-up, denial, unpaid insurance claims, and efforts that complicated rebuilding. What was interrupted? Black business power, Black home ownership, Black generational wealth, Black institutional strength, Black public memory. Greenwood was not destroyed because Black people were poor. It was destroyed because Black people were prospering. On January 1st, 1923, the new year opened in Levy County, Florida, with a lie that would help destroy a town. Rosewood was a small Black community, but small did not mean weak. Black families owned homes and land. There were churches, businesses, and a stable local economy. People had roots there. Children knew the roads. Families knew the sound of each other's porches. Land carried names, memories, and inheritance. Nearby in Sumner, a white woman claimed she had been attacked by a Black man. That accusation entered a world already trained to treat white fear as evidence and Black life as disposable. White men began searching. Rumors spread. The violence moved toward Rosewood. White mobs attacked. Black residents were killed. Homes were burned. Some Black residents fought back to protect their families. Survivors hid in woods and swamps. Some escaped by train. Others left with whatever they could carry. By the time the violence was over, Rosewood was gone as a living black town. Not because its people failed, not because the community collapsed on its own, because terror drove them out. The story they tried to sell centered the accusation and made the violence sound like a search for a suspect. The truth shows a whole black community was punished through racial panic and mob violence. The accusation became an excuse for collective destruction. What was interrupted? Black land ownership, Black family stability, Black rural community life, generational inheritance, public memory. Survivors stayed silent for decades because fear lasted longer than the fire. Florida later provided compensation to survivors and descendants, one of the rare examples of a state acknowledging and compensating racial terror. But money could not put Rosewood back on the map as it had been. The truth is that Rosewood was not abandoned, it was stolen. After the 1921 massacre, Greenwood rebuilt. That sentence deserves to stand alone. After the bodies, after the ash, after the insurance denials, after the detention, after the silence, Greenwood rebuilt. People reopened businesses, churches gathered again, families returned to streets that had burned and made them livable. That was resurrection work. But America has more than one way to interrupt Black success. Decades later, urban renewal and highway construction damaged Greenwood again. This time, the interruption wore official language. It came with plans, maps, and public projects. Roads and redevelopment cut into the district's economic and physical life. The first destruction had come with fire. The second came with concrete. Both took. The story they tried to sell was planning, renewal, and transportation progress. The truth shows that even after surviving massacre and rebuilding, Greenwood was damaged again by policy and infrastructure. What was interrupted? Black rebuilding, Black business continuity, historic memory, the possibility of full recovery. Greenwood's second destruction matters because harm was layered. It was not one event. It was massacre, cover-up, denied compensation, disinvestment, and then redevelopment. Greenwood, Rosewood, Greenwood again. These stories are about more than destruction. They're about what existed first. A business district, a rural town, a rebuilt community, homes, land, banks, churches, schools, memories, maps with Black life on them. The story they tried to sell was riot, accusation, progress. The truth shows massacre, theft, and repeated interruption. When Black communities built wealth, mobs came. When Black towns held land, terror came. When Black people rebuilt after fire, concrete came. And after all of it, the country often asked why so little was left. That question is dishonest if it refuses to name what happened. The truth is not that Black communities failed to build. The truth is that Black building was attacked, burned, blocked, paved over, and then buried under softer words. But the memory survived, and memory is where repair begins. Black people were not failing. Black people were interrupted. And Season 1 is only the beginning of that story.
Season 1 showed us the pattern.
Black success was not accidental, and neither was the violence against it.
Black people were not failing.
Black people were interrupted.